Hey, good morning, folks. It's Steve, Cat5JUF. Got some things I'm working on FLDigi here. Wanted to show you some changes I made. I wasn't happy with the way I got my CW macro set up. So what I did, I went through and kind of put this together logically. And what I did is I kind of rearranged some of the macros. And what I'll show you here, you see how I've got more macros here? So let me just show you. If you yesterday, this is what you saw. I only had this number of macros here. So what I did is I went ahead and added some additional macros, and the way you do that is you go to View and Hide 48. Now it'll have them all right there. So what I did is I kind of put all of my macros that were built here for contesting and stuff, and some of the pre-built macros that already came with the software. I just moved them all over here to the green column. And then what I did is I made some custom ones up here. These are mine. These are the ones I built here for my custom ones. And of course, I've got my last one over here for practicing different letters and stuff. So what I did, I added a new one called QRL for is the frequency in use. And then I added one for CQ, of course, confirmation of a station, and SK. So what I'll show you is I want to show you kind of combination a couple of things here, how these work, but I also want to show you how the logbook works because you have a logbook lookup function that I use for QRZ, and there's some other ones, logbook of the world, but I'll show you how QRZ works. All right, one thing I need to show you real quick is on your logbook settings, you'll want to go to lookup. Now on this screen here, what I do is I use QRZ, which this has already been pre-configured. But what you'll have to do down here is you'll have to select this here, and then you'll have to put your username and password and save it. And once you do that, you should be able to look up or access your logging software on the internet. So let me clear that out. All right, so let me give you an example here. For example, first thing I would do is I would go to my frequency list, which is right here. And I would pick a frequency, and right now I'm going into a dummy load, but I'm going to pick 28250. I'm going to populate the VFO. I'm in CW mode, which is where I want to be. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to switch back over to this mode. Now this here tells me the frequency, the current time. This is actually the current time right here. So what happens is when you make a contact, you would click on, and when you click on, that's going to update this time. This is the current time, so this is like whenever you're finished with the QSO. Here's your signal report. Remember, on your signal report, the outbound is going to be the signal that you're going to give to the other station. So if the other station's at a signal report of 587, um, that's the number you're going to put. Now, in the inbound is the signal report he's giving on you. So this in the in column is what your signal report is, or how he's picking up you. And this report here is how you're picking up him. So I'm going to change this to 588 right here. Now let me just kind of show you. So let's make a call real quick. Actually, I'll just leave it at 599. Let's go ahead and see if the frequency is in use. Okay, now there's our transmission. So we're going to see if the frequency is in use. Let me show you what the script looks like, just so you can kind of get a feel for what's going on here. I've got the idle command. I've got 3 seconds. Transmit my digital ID, which is comes from the software, and then of course QRL. Wait 3 seconds. QRL. Wait 3 seconds. QRL, and then go back to receive. So that's how the QRL works. So basically, you want to say is a frequency in use. Is a frequency in use? Listen. Listen. So maybe transmit, listen for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then transmit again. So let's say, for example, now the frequency is in use or it's not in use, and I want to go ahead and move to my next macro. All right, see how that worked? Perfect. Now, We have a station come back. The station, for example, I'm just going to use K5EHL. That's the station we got. I just picked him up coming in, so I'm going to type his name in here. So right now, I don't know anything about K5EHL. Here's how you look it up. You're going to click on the globe, and when I click on the globe, that's going to go to QRZ.com or your browser, whatever you're using. And notice what happens is it's going to populate everything. So I'm going to click on right here. That's the present time, 1634. Now I'm going to look him up. See how it just populated? So it populates it over here, it brings it up, but the beauty of this is you can just minimize your Internet Explorer or Chrome, whatever. Now I got all the information right here. This is where he's located at, Abilene, Texas, his grid square. So I've got everything I need here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Ron a signal back. I just got his message. I'm going to send him a signal. But notice what happens. It doesn't actually transmit until I push the transmit. So you see how I have the transmit here. So this is going to enter the script. Now I may want to change this. For example, I could change this to the weather is cold today or something like that. I've got a signal report there, 599. But let's say, for example, let me just clear this out real quick. Let's change the signal report I'm giving him as a 588. 588. That's in the outbound box. So notice what happens here. It's going to pull it right there, 588. So I've got everything like I want it. The weather's hot, or I could say the weather's cold. So this is you can customize this. This is what the beauty of this is. So you can customize this. Always remember you have to put your cursor at the very end of the script. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the transmit command, and it's going to send this entire signal. And it's also going to go back to receive. Okay, so he might come back and answer me back again. And say if I wanted to finish the QSO again, this one here, it doesn't transmit either. I can go back and edit it again. I can say, God bless, Ron, thanks for the QSO, great signal, something like that. And again, I've got the transmit script here. Got to put it at the very end. That's very important. You have to put your cursor at the very end. And I'm going to hit transmit again. Okay, very good. Now the last thing you have to do is you have to update the log. So when I click here, now it's going to update the log. So when I go to the logbook, there's the entry right there. That's the entry that we just did. See how that works? Then I'll go ahead and clear the screen, and I'm going to do another one. So let's clear everything out. and say I've just called again as a frequency in use. I had a station come back, and let's just do my station, KI5JUF. So again, if it was red, like if you'd already made contact with this guy, K5EHL, notice what happens. If that call sign is in your logbook that's on your computer, then you'll find him. But let's go, for example, KI5JUF. He's not in there, so we're going to look him up. It's going to bring me up here. And then when I go back to here, it's got the same thing. And this time I'll give myself a signal report of 555. And let's see here. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and answer this Steve back. I got my script here. Hello, Steven. Your signal report's 5 by 5. So you see kind of basically how this works. It pulls from this information here, the operator. It pulls your call sign, your signal report. It pulls it from all these fields. So if I was to hit transmit again, it would go through and transmit. I'll hit the TR to cancel it. But that's how that works. So then again, to save it, I have to update the log. And here it is here. So this is the logbook. So that's how you get, whoops, this is how you get stuff in the log. Now you can do things. I have not figured out how to get this log here to update in QSL or QRZ. And I'm not sure if that's possible, but at least here you can do some things with this. You can create a Excel spreadsheet that you can export the files on and so forth. So that's how I retooled everything. I've got all of my stuff here for CW. And again, I'll let you look at some of these scripts right here. Basically, these are the scripts. If you need these, I've got these on a notepad. I can email them to you. I can't put them in the YouTube. They won't let me put it in the body. I guess it doesn't like those greater and equal signs. But that's all the scripts. And on the script here, basically, I just have a script that says transmit, return back, kilo, and then receive. So that's how that works. So basically, it transmits and then it goes back to receive immediately. So one last thing I'll show you real quick. Over here, I went through and customized some frequencies. And what I'm going to do on my radio is I'm going to use my recall store button, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to toggle through some of my more popular frequencies here. Let's see. Yeah, see how it's updating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to store these real quick, and I'll show you. Recall stow button on the FT991A. What I can do is I can save these here, so I can do memory save. And if I want to go to the next frequency, I can save it. If I want to go to the next frequency, I can save it. Go to the next frequency, I can save it. Next frequency, I can save it. And that's it. So now what I can do here is I can go to manage, and you see how I've got these frequencies in here. And what you can do is you can go back and add custom labels. For example, on this one here, if you want to call this this particular one here, I'm going to tag it. And what you do is you put your tag there, and I'm going to call this 10 meter CU upper sideband. And when you press enter, it's going to populate over here, 10U CU upper sideband. Yep. And if I want to click this one here, I could go in and type in 10 meter upper sideband calling. Press enter. Same thing here. This is 10 meter FM calling. So what you can do is you can actually use this rig control somewhat like an interface to the radio. We'll put this one here. We'll put 6 meter calling, upper sideband calling. So this is kind of cool. You can go through and edit these, and I'll show you a couple. This one here is the last one is 2 meter upper sideband. It's 2 meter upper sideband calling. Now, like say for example, I want to add one. I'm going to add a custom one here. I'm going to add, let's see, let me do this. Let me put in a frequency of 144.70075. This is my CW frequency here. and I can change that to CW. Need to change that back down. So you can basically see this. You can go through and edit this. I'm about to run out of time here, but I can change that. I can add that one, and then I can go back and change that. So anyway, that's how it works. You can just, I was going to fix that, but that's how you do that. I just got a couple of things you can put in there. All right, thanks again for watching.